My name is Amber Geis, and as long as I can remember, I've been passionate about people. I was in a very dark season in which I lost myself. And I'm here to say, despite what others may say or do or our circumstances, we have the power to overcome and find ourselves again. We all have a story. Let's unveil the mask.
Hi everyone, this is Amber Geis with Unveiling the Masks. Season 2, we are already at Season 2 and our first 2 guests were awesome. So thank you to them for being on the show, and I'm really excited about our guest today. I haven't seen Jenny in quite some time, so it's super fun to get little Facebook messages from people from my past. And who are open and willing to share their story and just open up to help other people. So today I have Jenny with us, and she's just going to share your story.
Hi, thank you.
Hi.
Okay, so my name's Jenny. I am a mother of 2 girls that are 16 and 13.
Oh my gosh.
I know, Caitlin's 13.
Can't believe it. Okay, yeah.
And I've gone through a life transformation in the last few years, and my mission is to talk as much as I can about what I've gone through, so that even a piece of what I've been through, if somebody hears it and is like, oh my gosh, like that's me. And then it's relatable, and then they don't feel alone. Because I thought I was the only one going through this stuff, and in reality, I'm not. So, a little back story. I grew up. I was the youngest of a blended family. My parents divorced when I was really young, like 3. My dad remarried, and my siblings were all older, 9, 10, 11 years older than me. So essentially I was an only child. I don't necessarily think I was an accident, but I definitely wasn't planned. And so my dad and stepmom, I was just always kind of there. And so I had all the material things, and looking back, I mean, I had everything I ever, horses and trails to ride on, and but no real happiness, no real love. So my mom was there in my life, but it was on a every other weekend basis. So after I graduated high school, I went to Chico, and then went into the Army, and I was in the Army for a while, and then got married and had my kids, and I didn't really think anything was, I didn't really think there was anything wrong with anything I did. I was an explosive person, so if something didn't, if I didn't like something, you knew about it, and I was sarcastic, and it was all just a front. It was all just don't get too close to me, because I don't want to be hurt, So my marriage I thought was good, but it unraveled the year of my 30th birthday. I remember thinking on my 30th birthday that I could not be happier. My life, I had my little family that I'd never had before, and it unraveled, and it sent me into a place of I don't even know what. And I was drinking a lot, but still managing the our life, I guess.
Yeah.
I was still taking my kids to school, feeding them, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I was drinking every day, all day. And so I ended up moving with the girls back in with my ex-husband. And the divorce was really strange because I didn't get an attorney. I just wanted out. And so, or maybe I didn't really want out, or I'm still unsure about that. it just didn't feel good. So of course I ran from what didn't feel good. So I didn't get an attorney, and I wasn't trying to, but I just did whatever he said, you know, so, which, I mean, in hindsight, it's fine, but I didn't know how to stand up for myself and say, you know, this is what I need, or, but again, the goal wasn't to, I had the kids, and they saw him, you know, often, and so then we ended up moving. We had a horse boarding facility in Loomis that we were in sort of partnership with somebody, and ended up that he kind of had plans to develop the land or sell it, split it and sell it, and we didn't really know that. So I ended up moving with the girls back in with him, and he had bought a place. And I had been on 8.5 acres, and I was with my kids all day, and now I was there, and I was miserable. I was miserable. And I didn't know why.
Yeah.
I didn't know why. And so I was there 7 years, and I was miserable, he was miserable. And we both hated it.
And you guys were divorced.
Yeah, we were divorced.
That's like big in that, and just in that sense. You guys were divorced, still living together, which is kudos to you guys. I mean,
but telling because now we were in this new town.
Wow.
So, but telling everybody that we were still married, like, again, this face this facade that everything was fine.
Wow.
And we were miserable, and we were pretty miserable. And so I stayed there like 7 years about, and I ended up moving out, and that's like things really hit the fan. They really went downhill, and fast, like 6 months fast. In 1 week, I lost my job, lost the place I was living in, and got a DUI. I hadn't ever been in trouble before, and I got a DUI, and you would think that would, you know, teach you a lesson, but after that I started drinking more. And so it was November of 2015, and I went to rehab and got sober, but they have this thing called dry drunk, where you're not drinking, but your behavior is all the same, or you're not, you know, using the drugs, but all your behaviors, all your friends, places, all those things are still the same. And that's essentially what I was doing. And so life wasn't getting any better, and I couldn't figure out why. I was still miserable. In fact, I found my journal from after rehab, and it's like so many start overs. Like, is this gonna be the time that something clicks? And finally, February of last year, it finally clicked. And it was at a really strange time. My lease on my apartment was done, and I had been living in an apartment with my mom, which my mom is an alcoholic, so it was extremely volatile. And I am very much like my mom, and it was all bad. So she ended up moving out, and I ended up going back to my ex-husband's house, and we've been there together for this last year, and I've never really had a relationship with God. My dad was very, very, very strict Catholic, and it was something that it wasn't godly. It was like cult-like almost.
Yeah.
So it was hard for me to form that relationship with God because in rehab, that's a big part, finding your higher power, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it. And I wasn't willing to work the steps. I wasn't willing to do what they said because I just thought I could do it my way. And I ended up, I don't even know, but I started going to church and started doing my steps, and started being honest. And I think letting my children see who I am, like I'm not perfect. I have really bad days. I'm grouchy, I'm irrational, I'm all these things. Right. But it's okay. It's okay. And so I finally decided that to put the effort into being who I wanted to be. And so I decided to start doing what I was told to do in treatment, and miraculously, by the grace of God, I am recovering. I'm recovering from not only, addiction, but a loveless life. I didn't even know how to love my kids. They'd get close to me and I'd be like, I love them. I love them with everything I have. They are amazing little beings. But I didn't know how to show them other than doing, the lunches and the carpool, and that's the birthday parties, but that was more for everybody else. Oh, she must be a good mom because, her daughter has a pony, Right. And so now my life is becoming a little bit more authentic every day.
I love it. And you talked about your spirituality, or acknowledging that part. And a lot of people I talk to, that is very central to their story. And I think I'm a lot similar to you, how I was raised, very, you use the word cult-like, I don't want to offend anybody, but very strict and very strict, I was always scared of sinning and not being perfect. And so, when I was 27, I kind of threw everything out the window. But the funny thing as well is, like, when you're going through your darkest, you have those moments sometimes where I call them like the bathroom floor moments. You're flat on your face, and there is something higher possibly, and so
there is.
Was that your moment, like calling out to God? Do you feel that, like, how has God, I don't know your word, everybody has the word God. What would you say? How has God change things in your life?
Well, the need to, he's taken the obsession or the need to have everything planned out or everything perfect, because I would walk through the door and not any one thing would be out of place. But I knew that it was just a facade. But that's how I grew up. Our house was meticulous. And, but there was, like I said, there was no joy, there was no, later, my stepmom had told me that her and my dad, it was like a business relationship. They were raising their children. They were two single parents. And I learned, like, since getting sober and seeing things, I am realizing a lot of things that I missed and why I did the things I did. And but God has really just said to me, you are 100% capable of doing whatever you want to do. And so I completely changed careers, and so now I'm working downtown with people that are experiencing homelessness.
Wow.
And I'm navigating them through the path to housing. And there's so many things before housing, but so last night and the night before we did the pit count, which is the point in time count. So we literally walked the streets of Sacramento at night, because people, you know, like, for lack of a better term, bed down, you know. So it was pretty interesting, because it's a very different life out there at night. But and I was telling my team that I was with last night, like, I'm oddly not scared, you know, because I mean, I was in South Sac and Loaves and Fishes area. It's sketchy out there sometimes, but I just feel like I'm doing God's work. I'm doing what He has set me out to do, and I feel like He'll protect me in that. I've softened to, you know, learn what love is, because, you know, He's shown me, like, I have done some pretty crummy things, and He's still there. So my girls, they think I'm pretty amazing now, and that is success in sobriety. And that there's no way I could be sober without that relationship.
Wow, I love this conversation. I'm so proud of you. You know, thank you for unveiling our mask. I think so many of us just struggle with so many things, and we would just have no idea.
No idea.
No idea. And I think especially as females, we can be so good at pretending and smiling and nurturing and like, look, we've got it all covered. Thank you for sharing your story. I'm so proud of you. And I know there is someone watching that, you know, we all are struggling. We all have different coping mechanisms of how to deal with our stress. Some are good and some are detrimental to us, you know, and sometimes acknowledging those things, but it's not easy. That was not an easy task that you overcame. And I'm sure every day it's a choice.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
so I'm honored, and thank you for being with us today. And I'm really excited. What a beautiful, wonderful future you have. You know.
So you know, I have an amazing family. My siblings are fantastic. The girls and the girls' dad. There's been a shift. So it's kind of coming around full circle. And you know, he says this is the Jen that I met. You know, and I just got lost in there a little bit, and so it's been really fun to kind of blossom again all together.
I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And kudos to you guys. You know, being divorced myself, to have such a good relationship, raising your girls, and
Yeah, it wasn't always
Yeah.
great, but you know, his main goal is the kids, and my my crap that I was, you know, in addiction was always like that didn't play a part in it. He was dad first, and he drew very definite lines, and I was not. I didn't cross them. So it's been good. It's been a growth experience for all of us. Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And if you have a story, let's have a conversation, really. I mean, it's just a conversation. I would love to get to know you and your story. And have a really fantastic, awesome week, everybody.